gorgeous. How are you doing? It's a girl, Owamie, and welcome back to another episode of To Hell and Back. If it's the first time joining us, you're most definitely welcome. Please do make sure that you're subscribed and obviously hit the bell. I absolutely love you. If you also have a story and you want to come to Hell and Back and share, there'll be a WhatsApp number that is here. Please do send a WhatsApp message and my team will get back to you on how to book and also come to the studio to share your story. Now, my ninjas, today we are here with the gorgeous Pulani. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Okay. Yay! How are you?
I'm well, thanks. And how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. You look very beautiful.
Thank you.
You look very beautiful. Anyway, let's go ahead and just get into this story. I would like for you to just start off by telling us who are you, your background, kids, husband, family, siblings. Yeah, just a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Pulani Theo, but in Joburg I'm called Pulani Theo. I'm used to that. I am last born to a family of 7.
Wow.
Yes, I've got 5 sisters and 1 brother. I'm married. I've got 3 kids, 2 girls, and my last born is a boy. I am from Taung in the village in the northwest. Yes, but now I am a Joburg resident.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I bought a house in Johannesburg at the moment.
Okay. Now, let's get into the story that you wrote us for. Just tell us what your story is.
Yeah, my story is about how I was injured and ignored by the Department of Justice, which is my employer.
Okay, so tell us, how did you get injured? What happened?
I joined the Department of Justice in 2010 after being an educator. And in 2014, my family relocated to Klerksdorp and from Vryburg in the northwest also. And when it relocated to Klerksdorp, we had to sit down as a family and see how we are going to see each other. So we decided that let's move to Klerksdorp. My husband got a job there. And I was commuting from Vryburg to Klerksdorp weekly. And it's 300 kilometers away. So we decided that, get a transfer to Klerksdorp. There was a vacant position in Klerksdorp, but unfortunately, there was a language barrier because they had a Tswana-speaking intermediary, but they needed a Xhosa-speaking intermediary. So we looked around and checked. There was a vacant position in Rustenburg, which was 130 kilometers away from home, which make it closer to home. Yes. So I was commuting weekly. And from 2014, I joined Rustenburg Magistrate Courts.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I worked there. 2 years later, it was on the 19th of February, to be exact, at around 10 o'clock in the morning.
Which year was this?
2016.
2016.
Yes.
Okay.
In 2016, it was 10 o'clock in the morning, and I was moving from Regional Court A, which is downstairs, to my office, which is upstairs. So as I was walking, I slipped on the staircases. Let me describe the staircase. The floor, actually, those were those old floors. They're stone-like tile. They are really stones, right? And they were polished. They are always polished.
Yeah.
Yes. So when I was the 3rd stair or the 4th staircase, I slipped. So when I slipped, my left foot was up, my right was on the other step down. So as I was about to lift my foot to meet the the other foot, and as I then slipped. When I slipped, both my feet, like my legs were open. So I was scared of rolling down the stairs. So I decided to hold onto the floor on the staircases. I remember my phone broke. Everything was apart. My diary fell, and I had bruises on my knee. Like on the left leg, it was just below my knee. On the right leg, it was on the knee directly. So I sat there for a while. There was, I think, an attorney who was late to court, but the court upstairs on that day. It was a Friday for that matter. So he was late. He just rushed past. I think he was in front of me. So when I slipped, you cannot scream in such an environment. You can just make a noise, but you cannot scream because you know the court environment.
Because it's quiet.
It's quiet.
Would you say maybe at that time when you fell, you also did not think the injuries that you got were the injuries that you got? Like maybe, I don't know how to ask this question. Like in terms of, it's a quiet environment. And I'm sure you were also thinking about like, this is an environment where it's quiet and stuff like that. But do you think if you knew maybe the seriousness of it, would you have screamed to get help maybe quicker?
You know why, again, I didn't scream? Because I didn't roll. So because of me not rolling, I realized that, I saved myself.
Okay.
So it was okay for me because I thought if I could have rolled, I was going to be injured.
Yeah.
So for the mere fact that I was still there and I held on to the stairs, I was like, I'm safe now.
Okay. Okay, so, I understand that.
So that's basically it.
Okay.
And I sat there and I tried to wrap myself. And I was just left with the last corner of the stairs, which are 5 stairs to go up. So in front of the staircase, it's the first office, the children's court office. I got in there and I informed them, I just fell. You know, when your mind is saying you're safe, you're just telling them that, you know what, I just fell. And there's something that happened recently. It's a month ago or before that. There was a training or information session from the regional office. They were informing us of injury on duty, like that needs to be recorded if they are not, like the injuries are not bad. Okay. Reported if they can see like visible injuries. So that came into my mind, and I realized I took the phone to call the manager to alert the manager that I just slipped down the staircase. The manager was not in the office, but not on leave either. So I called the second in charge, and I found the lady in the office, and I alerted her that I had fallen on the staircases. And then she said, no, I'm coming, I'm on my way there. So in the meantime, my colleagues were busy rubbing ice, on the bruises because they were visible. I just had 2 bruises, nothing much. So they were rubbing on the bruises. And I sat there for a while. My office is the next office. Okay. So I just realized that let me just go to the office. And I went to my office then. And I let them that when the lady comes, just tell her that I'm in the next office. Unfortunately, she didn't pitch. And it was towards lunchtime. I went downstairs to look for her. She was not in her office. Okay. To be precise, if I can explain what was happening that week, the government employees, they got paid on the 15th. The 15th was Wednesday. And Friday, people are going home,
Yes, my
Yes,
back.
it's a normal thing. You know, it's not something new. Everybody knows, and people were wherever at the shops and whatever because it was lunch. It was, I think, 10 minutes towards lunch. So the manager was not there. Neither was the second in charge. So I called home to tell them that I slept, and my husband advised me not to drive. But I would normally not usually drive. Sometimes I would hitchhike or take public transport. Sometimes I would use my car.
Okay. Yeah. So that Friday, you ended up
leaving my car in the
at the office.
On the premises. Yes.
And then you hitchhiked home.
Yes.
Okay. So when you were going home, were you in pain?
It was not necessarily a pain, a bruise pain.
Yeah.
It's a normal pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything that maybe you felt like. Okay.
There was nothing. So I went home for that Friday. The next day, it was my daughter's birthday on the 20th.
Okay.
We celebrated the birthday. Everything was okay. And then Sunday came. Monday, I hitchhiked to Rustenburg again. I said I worked for the whole day. And I went... I had a flat right there. So I went to my car. After knock of time, I went to my car. So I drove to the supermarket to get some necessities. And then I went to my... But something strange, when I got out of the car to the supermarket, which is just 2 kilometers away, I started feeling like muscle pulls on my hip, down to my leg and to my feet. But I did not. I brushed it off because it cannot be anything serious because I've been sitting the whole day. It can only explain the cramps.
That you've been sitting, it's something normal. Okay.
So after that, I went to my place. That night, I couldn't sleep.
This is Monday now?
Yes, it's Monday. That night, I couldn't sleep. There was an excruciating pain from my back now, at my hip area only, to my knee. So it was heat, it was hot. Like the pain was hot, it was excruciating. I remember I took pain meds and I put my foot on the wall, at least to get that coolness of the wall. And it wasn't helping. So I don't know if I slept or I didn't sleep, but morning came. I went to work. The first thing when I got there, I went straight to the lady's office. And then I'm like, did you tell the manager what happened? And you know what? I couldn't sleep. I realized that I still have pain from that falling on Friday. That day it was Tuesday then, I had a case which was scheduled for 3 days, which involved minor kids. By the way, I'm an intermediary. I'm a court intermediary, so I am a child witness specialist. I work with child witnesses.
Okay.
So in cases like that, you prioritize your victims more than anything because your victims are kids who are absent from school. So I prioritize them knowing that they are absent from school. But before she said that, no, okay, you can go and work and then I'll tell the manager. So when the court adjourned for that day, I went to them. So there was a dilemma between them, whether this one is the one who reports or this one was the one who reports.
Like this is now the manager and the deputy manager?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't understand because normally if we didn't know the extent of the injury, because there's no first report from the doctor. We can just record it as an injury that occurred
on duty.
On this day at what time. Until now, I see the doctor. But nothing was done whatsoever. So on Tuesday again, I now went home again to my flat. I couldn't sleep again. It was like when I make movements or I'm working or anything, during the day, I feel less pain. The pains are there because you are injured, but it's like a minor injury. But at night, when the body relaxes, it's like all hell breaks loose. The next morning, I go to them again and say, you know what? No, not the next morning. It's a Wednesday, right? At that time. And then I went to tell the manager, and the manager said, funny enough, he used this words, maybe u robehile wa kumrao.
Like maybe you were already injured and then you just fell at work.
Yes, because of your injury. I don't know. I got injured from what.
Okay.
But it's a joke, right? I just brushed it off. I took it as a joke. You can say that to anybody. But to me, it was like, okay. The lady was like, no, we got an instruction that from the regional office, you should go to the doctor. That Wednesday, court adjourned. And I went to the doctor.
Okay.
The doctor gave me pills, injections, and referred me for x-rays, but only for the knee.
Okay.
So I went, got the x-ray results. Nothing was showing, nothing much, apart from the bruises. So he gave me Thursday and Friday, because Thursday I took now the x-ray. So I was on leave. I went back home. When you're on leave, when you're not leaving home, you
go home.
You go home. Yes, when you're not living with your kids, you just go home. And I went home.
Did you drive when you went home this time?
Yes, I drove.
Oh, you drove. Okay, that's fine.
I drove.
Okay.
Did I drive? I didn't.
You still left the car?
No, my husband came to fetch me.
Okay.
Yes. He came to fetch me because I would tell him like that I've got this pain. No, he came to fetch me.
Okay.
And I went home, but now sleep was a scarce resource to me. I couldn't sleep every night. Now it was becoming a nightmare to me because I couldn't sleep from that time. I would take pain meds. It was so difficult. So Monday we decided that, you know what, we've got our family doctor around. If I tell you Owamie in Northwest, in the Northwest, the good doctors are in Klerksdorp and the specialists are in Klerksdorp.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went to our family doctor in the morning and then we told him what had happened. He started taking the injury on duty form, the first report. And they say, your doctor didn't feel anything either. So he started filling the first report and saying, now it's getting serious. We must report this. He now referred me to the biokinetics. I went to the biokinetics that day, doing some exercises and physio there. I started seeing them looking at each other. The other one called the colleague. You know, when you're lying on your back and then somebody's holding your legs and then they are saying there's something strange. And then they are looking at each other funny. So, but you don't know what they are doing. It's their job. And then they were saying, no, we suspect SI joint injury because we can see that the other leg is longer than the other one. There must be something from the hip area. They then got in touch with my doctor and requested him to give me 2 weeks leave so that every other day I come to them so that we can do some more exercises.
Okay.
So my doctor gave me that leave. I took it together with the first report, I sent an email to my manager. I even called him the next morning, telling him how serious things are becoming now because of that injury. And now we need to report the injury. He was not responding that much on the email. And I would take like 3 days and I would call him. The manager didn't respond on the email. But he said to me directly on the phone when I was doing a follow-up, did you get my email and stuff? And then he was like, please go and read COIDA. COIDA is the Act Compensation of Disease and Management Act for injury on duty. So I'm like, why? It's saying that your injury, according to COIDA, it doesn't need to be reported for something. It doesn't align with the COIDA Act or the rules. From that day, I read COIDA like a mad woman. You know, some policies, we know them for when we just read some. I read it cover to cover. I wanted to know. I wanted to see, like, what is it about my injury that makes it not to align with the COIDA, because it's an act and this is an injury on duty. And there was nothing. COIDA was very clear that you need to report the injury. Doesn't matter how minor it is, you just need to report. And then the manager didn't report. I think things were becoming now hectic. Went back now to my doctor and said, I'm not getting better. I think I went back to work. You know, because they prescribed a back brace, which I had to lower it so that it can cover my hips. It can cuff them in.
Yeah.
And there was a brace that I was using.
Did that make you feel better?
I don't know.
Okay. At night when you go sleep, would you still be in the same pains that you had?
Yes.
Okay.
The pain, Owamie, was unbearable. It was unbearable. I would still feel the same pain. Now my doctor is referring me to a specialist, which is an orthopedic surgeon. Okay, I went to the orthopedic surgeon. The orthopedic surgeon suspected an SI joint injury.
Okay.
But he realized that there was a sciatic nerve injury. But I went for a scan, a bone scan. I went for x-rays. I went for an MRI scan to confirm all those. And indeed, I had an SI joint injury. An SI joint is a joint. You know the spine. There's a big bone. The big bones that are holding the spine. The joint that is holding that, it's called an SI joint. So that joint was injured. It was moved. It shifted a bit.
Which is why now your legs were not equal.
Yes.
Okay.
That was the whole problem. And he prescribed cortisone injection. You start from there. So I went to theater for direct cortisone injection on the SI joint and on my back. Because we didn't really know what was happening, because there was a pain on the back and the pain on the hip, the pain that goes to the knee, the pain that goes to the heel. So this one, the heel one, was that there was a sciatic nerve injury. So the other one that goes to the spine, it was because of the SI joint. It's now, we are building up on the
diagnosis. Injury. Yeah.
Yes, on the diagnosis.
Okay.
So by that time,
When now you went to theater, I mean, now it's obviously like you can see that now the issue is like really serious. Did you now go back to the manager to say, listen, like this is now a different diagnosis of what was caused by the fall and the injury that happened on duty? Like you need to report this.
I would always do that. And fortunately for me, before a follow-up call, I would always write emails.
Okay, so you had proof of everything. And with the emails that you would send, would the manager ever respond?
No.
He would never respond, but
would never.
he would, what do they call this? He would take the call and say whatever it is that he wants to say through the call. But with the emails, the only track record that is there is you sending emails, him not responding.
At all.
Okay, so now let's talk about you go to theater, you get this injection. Does it help with the pain?
Yes, it does help.
It helps
with the cortisone, yes.
Okay, and what was...
called the pain block.
Okay.
It helps for a while.
Okay, like how long?
It helped for, I think, 2 to 3 weeks.
Wow. And then after that, the pain started again.
Yes.
So now what was the did they ever have like maybe a long-term solution?
The long-term solution, no, I have to go back because the pain is coming back.
So you need to go back again?
I need to go back again. And by then, around April, March, my husband got a position in Pretoria.
Okay.
So we have to decide now who's taking the kids because the kids cannot be alone in Klerksdorp. So I found accommodation in Rustenburg and I took the kids.
Okay.
But in the meantime, I'm still going to my specialist. So I went back again.
So your specialist was now in Klerksdorp. So now you are traveling from Rustenburg to Klerksdorp
yes.
for your specialist.
Yes, for my specialist. And I would go to the specialist, inform him. And by then I'm still using that back brace. You inform him what's happening. I'm now in pain again. And he said, with the SI joint injury, there's an operation that you need to do. But we cannot start from there because, with medical aid, there has to be a build-up case and diagnosis. You can just start by saying there's this.
Yeah, they still need to see that, okay, you've done everything possible before you go for the surgery. Because they also don't want to pay that shmanish bobo. It is a robful world we live in.
Exactly. So there is a specialist now, right? He's informing me about the SI joint operation. I'm starting now to be scared of my situation. I now realize that
this is
getting very serious. And because I know physiology, because I was a biology teacher, I know that when you talk this operation, it has to be a serious thing. And when I sit down and do my research, the percentages of the success rates were not really convincing for me to go for that op. So in the meantime, now depression hits. The reality now of just what just a simple slip could do to my life. And I'm starting to get frustrated because now I'm at a stage where now I am compensating the medical aid with my own money. I'm starting to think that these people are not doing anything. They are not reporting my injury. So what is the use of injury on duty if it is not assisting me anyway financially? And I escalated the matter to the area manager. The area manager ignored me as well. And I took it to the HR director in the region. And he gave an instruction that this should be reported. It's around June.
Your injury happened
February.
Okay.
It's around June that time. And I'm becoming worse and worse. My health is deteriorating at the moment. Nothing is getting better. It's now mentally, it's now physical, it's everyday pain. I've been given injections. Now...
And now at this time, I'm so sorry, at this time, how frequent are you going to work, or how frequent are you taking days off?
I think I was on 2 months leave.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was on 6 weeks, something like 6 weeks.
Okay.
So when I went back, I didn't go back because I had to go back. I started, when I walk like 3 to 4 steps, now I would get a stuck on my hip. So I realized that, there's something wrong. And then I called my specialist. You know, with a specialist, you don't get the exact date, like, come tomorrow.
Yeah,
you have to
you
wait.
might wait 2 weeks,
yes.
3 weeks.
So I called them so that they can, like, put me on the list earlier than my normal
date.
date. Then I went back. He took me to the bone skin, and then he said that, you know what, now because you are using this leg and this hip is moving, I think that's where the pain comes from. Because we were going to fuse this joint so that you cannot move.
Okay.
So we are going to prescribe crushes so that you may not put pressure on your right leg or your hip. So you are going to use crushes. I went to get crushes. I went to start learning how to work on crushes. They taught me and everything. And I don't want to lie to you, using crushes is not a child's play. It's difficult because now you have to use your limbs, your hands, your shoulders. So now I'm starting to realize that my injury is getting worse, not getting better. I'm starting now to be frustrated and scared. Because there's this operation that it's facing me that I'm scared to do. Now depression hits. I had an attack, a mental
You
breakdown.
went through depression.
I went.
You did say that with this operation, the success rate was quite low. What would you say with the operation was some of the worst case scenarios, like the outcome?
With the outcome, some people couldn't walk.
After that?
Yes.
So it would affect their spinal cord?
No, not the spinal cord. It will affect their mobility.
Okay.
Because now you're using that joint to move.
Okay.
And to sit. You know, we're using that joint.
Yeah.
Yes. So their mobility.
Yo.
It's not like you can't feel your legs.
Yeah,
no.
but you can't use it.
You can use it.
Okay.
Yes,
that's something that obviously you were scared of.
I was scared of that. And I took my time. I had a mental breakdown, depression, and I was admitted in Hartbees. I think it was for a day or two. So the environment there was not really disability friendly. So they had to discharge me, and then I would go there because my psychiatrist was in Rustenburg.
Okay.
But the hospital she uses was in Hartbees.
Okay.
So I would see her like...
Regularly?
Yes, regularly, but as an outpatient.
Okay. Okay. So now, you're going through mental issues, physical pain, all this huge decision that you need to make. Do I get the operation? Do I not? There's also the financial aspect of it. At work, does the manager ever take it now to say, you know what, we are at a point where I should just go ahead and report this? The head of HR in that area had actually instructed, was your injury then reported?
It wasn't. Now we are somewhere around July, August. I think. Yeah, it wasn't reported at that stage. Nobody said anything. I still remember I approached our shop steward, Nehau, because I was a Nehau member. And I told him like what is happening and stuff. And then he went to see the manager. And when he comes, he said, no, the manager is promising to
report.
But I don't know what they said. I don't know why I was not there. And I never took this as like to lodge a formal complaint
against the manager for not reporting.
Yes, I didn't. I was just escalating matters and escalating it.
Okay.
Yes.
So now let's get to the part where, now you are basically an outpatient, like, for your therapist. You're clearly not going to work now.
Yes.
You are still in pain. What steps do you take next in terms of your health now? Do you go for the operation? What happens?
No, I didn't go for my op. I was on crutches, which alleviated a lot of pressure on the hip. I was getting better, but at night there's pain. That pain at night, it's
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And at that time, around September, my husband took a decision that, you know what, let's go to your manager. And he called and booked an appointment to see him. We went, the two of us. I was on crutches at the time. And we got in. My husband just wanted to find out where the problem is. Why aren't you reporting this case? And I still remember at that time, I broke down in the office. I started crying. So the manager was like, you know what, with Ulani is such a hard worker. You know, those sweet talks and stuff. But he ended up taking the forms and filling the forms to report the incident and taking my ID, making copies and everything. And then he made copies for us, gave us our copies. And then he took the forms, put them in the courier bag, telling us that, you know what, you can see it's going to regional office. And we don't know whether it went or what.
Did you ever get, like when you report, do you get a case number?
I didn't.
But
I didn't get
on a norm that happens?
Yes, on a norm that happens. Owamie, at that time, my mind is everywhere. And I've got that hope, you know. I saw the form in a courier bag. And he was alleging that, you know what, I had already scanned it. Like the electronic one is already there. So this is just
a formality. The original copy.
Yes.
Okay,
it's fine. So I realized that it's September now. It's October. I didn't get any of that.
At this time, but you are still not going to work?
Yes, I'm now on a
sick leave or?
On a sick leave from a psychiatrist.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So now it's a psychiatrist. Okay.
Yes.
And then now what happens?
And I still remember the beginning of November, I called the Department of Labor and then told them that, you know, that I'm so-and-so, my injury was reported, and can you please check my case number? And then there was nothing.
They said it was never reported?
Yes.
So the manager lied?
Yes, of course.
You?
So I asked them, you know what, I've got copies. Is it possible for me to
send them through?
Report myself, to send them through?
Yeah.
No, I sent them the very same day I got a case number.
Wow. Yo?
Yes.
Did you have any issues with your manager prior?
I know this. There was nothing. Really, there was nothing between me and my manager.
Did you ever go back to your manager to say, why did you lie to say that you were sending through whilst you didn't?
I never went.
Because the day that the manager had those papers that they were going to go get posted, did you also get copies of those?
He gave me the copies.
Okay.
That's why now it
you
was
were able
easier
to
for me
just send.
to scan mine.
Okay.
email to the labor department.
Okay.
And then I got a case number the very same day.
Okay. So now with getting the case number, what now happened?
They also sent the Department of Justice, regional office, my case number. And they would send all the requirements via them. And they would CC me, I'm sorry. They would CC me. And then whenever they need something, those people will never respond. But I would respond when, they need the scans, I would send them. They need the doctor's report, I would send them.
And the Department of Justice was also CC'd?
It was CC'd, but whenever they asked something from them,
the
email was going to the department.
But
I was copied. So I would see that this email was sent on this day, requesting that we are requesting that. Because everything, when it's requested from you, it's via your employer.
So when you say the department, who is that? Is that your manager? Is it now a different person?
No, my employer.
The department anyway.
Yes,
that is fine.
Employer.
So now, let's get to, with your injury, what is now, what was the next step that you now did? I mean, now you're not going to work because of the, the psychologist is the one that booked you off now. I'm sure it also got to a point where now they were like, you were fit to go back to work.
Yes. Yeah, because I still remember the next year. I still remember around November, I was feeling much better. No one took me off the crutches. I did.
You took yourself off the crutches?
Yes, because I realized that you haven't used the leg for quite a long time. Yes, it's when you use it, you can walk.
It's nice,
it's much better. Now the pain, it's on, like it's radiating in the middle of my spine more.
This is after you put yourself out of the crutches, and now you were back to work.
I went back to work, the next year.
The next year, January.
I went back to work and I called the Department of Labor. What is it that you guys would need when I go back to work? No. The resumption duty report. Who fills that report? It's only your employer, your manager, who can do that. I then went to the manager. I'm back to work. You can see me. But now they are looking for a resumption report. I'm not even asking him, I'm not even informing him, you know what, I ended up doing this. No. I just left it. They are now requesting this. But I went to my desk and started writing an email. Whatever that I've said to him directly, I started putting it now down. And then I sent it in an email form, which he never responded.
And did he ever fill that form, resumption form? He didn't.
It was never filled.
It was requested by who? By HR?
No, by the labor department.
By the
compensation.
Okay, so he's supposed to now fill that form, send to them. And he doesn't. So now what happens?
I still remember there was a time that the area manager visited our court and I got to be introduced as Pulani wa injury on duty. This is Mrs. Theo wa injury on duty.
Had she come for you or she had come for just a normal meeting?
No, it's a he. He came for a meeting with the whole staff.
So people were being introduced. You got introduced as Pulani wa injury. Wow.
Injury on duty. I get the subject. Every time I write an email, the subject was injury on duty. Yes.
So at this point, I mean, this is almost a year from your injury. Yes. You had been going to hospitals, you had been all this stuff, because even the depression that you developed, that's also supposed to be covered because it's an effect of what happened with the injury on duty and everything. Had there been any compensation to that point? Absolutely nothing. So everything was from your medical aid and out of pocket. So for them to now give you the compensation, what was now needed?
It was
that form,
the documentation from my employer,
which was not being provided by your manager.
Nothing was done from my employer side. It was only my side. So nothing was done. Because now this report needed to be taken to my doctors. They have to send it to my doctors. My doctors now are filling the forms. Their side of the forms.
Okay.
As to now where is she now?
Okay.
So it will only be my own efforts.
And not your employers.
Yes.
Okay.
Do nothing.
Okay. So now, please just, what happens?
It's 2017 by then, around March. Yes, I think I was moving from the main office to the office outside of the premises, which was an extension of family court. It was the domestic violence office. So as I was walking past the parking, I realized that I can't feel my leg. Like my leg was becoming like heavy. So I leaned on the car next to me. So I'm like, I can't feel my leg. So there was a guy who was smoking because usually it's a smoking area. So I just said, you know what, come the side because help me to take me to the office because I cannot feel my leg, my right leg. He helped me to the office. The colleagues started now taking off my shoes. My leg was, in my feet were cold. It was cold. So I called a friend to come and pick me up to go home, take me home.
Okay.
So that's there. I'm getting again frustrated. So I still remember now I'm going again for checkup. 6 weeks checkup, 3 months. I go for checkup to Klerksdorp, to my specialist in Klerksdorp. And then I informed him that, you know what, now the pain is radiating on my spine. I don't know what's happening. And then he said, now you need to go to the neurosurgeon. He gave me a referral. I had to check neurosurgeons around Rustenburg. I found one. I go and consulted. The neurosurgeon just said that, you know what, took me to the MRI scan now to check the whole spine. And then he said, you know what, your L1, L2, of the lower back vertebral column, the disc is degenerating and then it has slipped. So it's irritating the spinal cord. So there's an operation that you need to do as soon as possible.
So this is a separate operation from the first one that your first specialist had suggested. Oh, because this is a neurosurgeon, and then that other one was a specialist
orthopedic
orthopedic. Yeah.
So the orthopedic surgeon deals mostly
with the bones. Yes. So the neurosurgeon deals mostly with the nerves, right? So now you were trying to avoid the one for the bones, and now there's this one for the spine now for the nerves.
Yes. And the neurosurgeon asked me like, how did you fall? And then I explained everything. And then he said, you know what? If you could have let yourself to roll on the staircases, you wouldn't have sustained such injuries. It's because now you tried to hold on and then you tilted your back. So it caused this disc to slip. Okay, now there's an op. Depression hit again. I got admitted again in Portview, here in Portview Hospital, in Life Portview in Johannesburg. I was there for 2-3 weeks, 21 days. Now going for therapy to prepare for the operation, and because I was so scared, I wouldn't even sleep. Okay, it happened. After then, it was December, I went to my specialist and decided now that, Jen, I'm doing an op. It's fine.
For the bone?
No.
Oh, for the spine.
Yes.
Okay.
So I went on the 9th of Jan 2018. I went for a spinal.
So wait, you made that decision when?
December.
Oh, December.
Yes,
okay, so you're going January.
Before they closed.
Okay.
Before they went for holidays.
Yeah.
And then I went and booked the date. already the first week I went for an op. So that was a spinal fusion. In a spinal fusion, they remove that degenerated disc and they fuse your L1 and your L2. So it's one bone. They put screws. That was the most painful operation I've ever had. So I'm sitting there. It's Jen. I'm on my op. I was given 6 weeks before I could go see the doctor. It's March. I'm receiving an email from... There's a lady now who... The manager, the then manager has left and there's a new manager now. So it's me, Pulani. I am introducing myself to the new manager. It's a lady that I know. She was a manager in one of the small courts that I would do periodical courts in.
Okay.
So we were buddies, man.
Yeah.
We were fine. So I'm like, this one I know. No, this is Pulani and this is me. I'm on leave. I got injured and introducing myself. Okay. She didn't even say anything. It was okay. It was just letting you know who I am. Okay. So after that, I would send my sick notes to her. Sending my sick notes, I'm like, because it's a longer leave, can somebody from work maybe send a driver to bring me the form? The response was like, we don't have drivers to send forms to people's houses. So I'm like, I was shocked because I knew we were fine. We were buddies. I don't know what. Okay, I went back 6 weeks checkup. After the checkup, the leave was extended for 6 months until August. I think it was somewhere around March, the end of March. I received an email from my manager that if you don't report to work in 7 days or so, you had absconded. I'm like, but I've got a leave form, I've got leave. Okay. And I didn't know what to say. I said, okay, I'm still waiting for my forms from the neurosurgeon. You know, these forms, it's a lot of money to fill them. Still remember that time, it was 3.4 to fill a temporary incapacity leave.
From the doctor?
From the neurosurgeon. Because again, from my psychiatrist, I pay 1.7. From my orthopedic surgeon, I paid somewhere around 1.8 to fill these forms. And when you go, you don't fill the form today and they give it back. You have to wait for the form to be filled. And it was filled. So during my session with my psychiatrist, I informed her that, you know what, I got this kind of a message on my therapy session. And then she was like, you should be careful when you get those messages. Normally, the employer is trying to do something. They are cooking something. I didn't take it to heart. It wasn't something that I took it seriously. I was just letting her know. And then March, is it April? April, around the 17th or 18th, I got an email from my... Now I've submitted everything. I've submitted my leave until August, right? And I got an email from my manager saying that the employer is contemplating on stopping your salary because you owe them this leave. There was a list from 2016. A list.
That you had sent?
That I had sent. I had submitted with everything. There was a list. I'm like, now, where does this come from? I think it was 87 days or something that I owed them.
But you had proof of everything and you submitted everything.
And I submitted everything. The response was from me, the response was, I submitted all the leave forms. I don't owe any leave form. And the last one that we submitted, it was on the 10th of April that we went to your office together with my husband to submit this. And then the stonewalling started now from her. So when I opened, I start, you know what, when you read something, it's like it's unbelievable, right? And then I opened the email. When I opened the email again, I scrolled. I'm like, it's like, this is a forwarded email. I want to find that it's an email trail. God is good. That's an email trail that they've been communicating with the directors, the HR directors, the area manager, whom I was introduced to as Pulanoa Injury on Duty to, and her.
So they accidentally forwarded the whole trail and you were only supposed to get that email. So now you're seeing everything.
I'm seeing everything. I'm seeing that these people have 2 weeks. They've been communicating. There's a memo that was written that this person owed this number of days. So let's stop her salary. So there was a memo that was even signed by everyone. The people who could not even respond to any of my emails, they were there to sign a memo.
And so now when that happens,
No, May, there was no salary.
So that May they cut your salary?
They cut my salary.
So when you now communicated that I have sent everything and did you forward the proof of everything that you had sent? You had the trail.
I had the trail. You know what? With the doctor's forms, you get them and then you submit them. It doesn't mean that I have you submit the originals.
You submit to them.
Yes.
So now you don't have proof of that.
Yes. But the doctor has.
There's the record.
Yes.
Which means you would now need to pay again to get all that.
Yes. But the doctor has. They've got in my file everything.
So now your salary is getting cut when? March of? May of 2018.
So we then decided, because my husband got a job in Johannesburg now, but he was commuting like weekly home for us back. But it's just 100 kilometers away. So we decided that, you know what, let's just come to Joburg.
So at this point, they stop your salary. I mean, you are injured. You are constantly going to hospitals. You are going to psychiatrists, psychologists, neurospecialists. You're going to orthopedics. Like all this stuff, obviously, that's very expensive. And now they cut your salary.
Yes.
How do you deal with that? I mean, already you are in and out of mental institutions. How's that on your mental?
It came as a shock to me. And I remember I wrote an email to them telling them that this is an unfair labor practice, what they did, and they didn't respond as usual. And I found a lady attorney in Randburg, and then she wrote them a letter, like a legal document. They didn't even bother to respond. It's May now. June. Most a legal document, 7 to 14 days.
Yes.
To be responded to. And there was no response. And now it hits home that you don't have a salary. And what those people did, they made sure that they take that decision before the salary roll, the payroll.
So that even that month you don't get a cent.
Yes.
So
now that time we decided that, okay, let's move, because we are depending on one salary and we cannot afford anyone to help, two households, help buy, and so we moved to Joburg.
Your husband that time, he had gotten a post in Pretoria, right?
No, in Johannesburg.
Oh, in Johannesburg. So you moved with the kids to Johannesburg. Were your children not going to school?
They were.
And the disturbances and everything?
No, it happened. One of them is here. Yeah. They've moved a lot. It's even affected them psychologically. They're going for therapy even now for those frequent moves in their lives.
So now you're home. This is after your operation.
Yes.
You had this serious operation that involved your spine. You still have a bone that is not properly, so you're still having pains with that, or still getting those injections.
I would get injections
for pain to try help. So you're going like almost every 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
No, they do that. They did that 3 monthly because
3 monthly.
It was costly.
Okay. And now you have no salary. You have no job.
You know what it means when they stop your salary? Your salary stops. Your pension fund stops. Your medical aid stopped. By then, all my family members were my dependent on my medical aid. So nobody had
medical aid at that point. Sure.
Imagine if my husband was not employed. He had to do a research thoroughly, the one that can cover me within a month. Because, with the medical aid, there's
they will have a waiting period, yeah.
So he had to do a thorough research. Okay, in our workplace, we've got these. This is the choice. This is the options that we have within the ranges of the medical aid. So this is the one that at least you can get covered
as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
Yeah. So now, for how long did you fight? Because we know that whenever you would send documents, they would not be responded. For how long was your salary cut?
My salary got cut, and then they didn't respond. And I got now a legal advice that you can resign and lodge a constructive dismissal. A constructive dismissal, according to labor law, it's that your employer has left you with no choice but to resign. So that's you basically write the very same words that I've just said now when you resign. I'm resigning with immediate effect because my employer, the treatment that they gave me no choice but to resign. So that's, you resigned, and then we lodged a complaint with the CCMA. It went to the bargaining council, and it has to be reviewed, right? Whether it can sit or not. So it started sitting 2019 June.
Your salary was cut which year?
2018 May.
Oh, that is after a year of no salary.
Yes.
Yes. So when it set?
It set, and then we set 4 sittings.
Okay.
With the compensation commissioner. Now it was a trial. It was a whole trial of our side. I had an attorney. You hire an attorney.
You have to pay out of pocket at that point.
Yes. You hire an attorney, and then your employer comes, and then it's a whole trial with the commissioner sitting and taking the decision. So for me, I won the case because I had all the records. I even took all the records, even from that email, remember, that they were not supposed to send to me.
Wow. So you had a lot against them.
Yes.
Wow.
I had everything because everything I was doing it on email. So I won the case.
So you won. Okay. And what did you win?
That I must be reinstated.
Okay.
To an alternative position.
Because your previous position had already been filled.
No, alternative, my position, but alternatively. Not in the very same area.
Okay.
The alternative was like not in the very same.
Okay, because you also were not comfortable to go back to the same people. Yes. Okay. And also what? With compensation?
With compensation.
So it means they were supposed to back pay you for the whole year that you were not getting paid. And then the medical expenses?
The medical expenses were not really stipulated directly.
Okay, so you won in 2019.
Yeah.
Okay, and did they pay?
You know what happened? 2019 December, I got an award from CCMA.
Okay.
I won.
Okay.
Good.
Okay.
I thought January I would be going to that alternative court. My attorney would ask, where is she reporting to? Because it's January now. I want to find that Department of Justice, my employer. This is a national department. If they take a decision, they are not taking it only regionally. Now they are reviewing the case that I've won.
So when they're reviewing, what does that mean? Whatever that was awarded with the CCMA now,
they feel that
they need a retrial basically.
Yes.
Okay.
They feel that they are not ready to abide by everything that.
Okay. So with that, how long does it take?
And then the review, it took the whole 2 years. Yes.
2 years. So within that extra 2 years, you're not getting paid?
Yes. I'm not
so
at
it's
work.
3 years now?
Yes. I'm not at work. I am not getting paid. Yes. I'm not at work. I'm not getting paid. But I've got an award that states that I should be compensated. My salary, of course. And then they should continue to report, to follow up on the compensation commissioner as to how far it is
when it comes to your injury and the compensation of that.
Yes.
So an extra 2 years you were sitting home.
Yes, I'm sitting home.
Mentally, how are you dealing?
Owamie, I still remember there was a time that I was in a car. My husband was driving. I was a passenger. And then there was an email that was popping on my phone. I still remember I opened my phone to read an email. I froze. I stopped talking because I was reading the email. So my husband is waiting for me to tell him what's the email about, because I said it's from Justice. So I froze. He said, "What are they saying?" I couldn't talk. What are they? And then he stopped the car to read for himself. It was another review.
After 2 years?
Yes, it was another review. When we think that we are getting a breakthrough every time, there's a review. They come up with something.
I mean, this is justice. This is the Department of Justice. This is where when your employer is having issues with you, you go to them. Yes. Now, literally, these are like the top. Where do you go from there? Where do you... Wow.
These are the custodians of justice.
Sure.
The people who did all those injustices.
Sure.
They are the custodians of justice.
So now, how long does that review now take?
I think it took a whole year.
So this is year 4 now?
Yes.
And then after, what was the...
It's year 4 now. And now I have to pop out another money.
For a lawyer?
For now, an advocate. It's another level now. And an advocate is now...
More money.
From
a dry place, because you've not gotten paid in 4 years.
Yes.
And you can't even say, let me go work somewhere because you're sick. Sure.
So you have to sell this and that. You have to go from African Bank to Capitec to whatever. Sometimes you even take the very same award to borrow money.
Wow.
I think you've got an award to show that there's money
will pay you back,
that I have to get, you know. So you would go there and borrow money, and got now an advocate. The advocate took it to the labor court. The labor court ruled against
the Department
of Justice.
Wow.
Because now I remember the respondent was the Director General. We've got only one Director General in South Africa for the Department of Justice, which is Advocate Doc Mashabane. I think he can hear me from here. I think he knows Theo very well. Because all my emails, I will CC him.
You would CC him?
I would CC him.
Okay.
So it happens that now they are not paying again.
After 4 years.
Yeah, now we are with the advocate. The advocate decides that, you know what, we need to attach their assets so that we apply for that now.
At this point, they owe you a lot of money. That's 4 years worth of plus bonuses and everything. Wow.
So now the sheriff goes to their offices, register everything that needs to be attached. There were cars there, there were cupboards, there were chairs, and goes to the regional office, Northwest in Mafeking. And he registers all those. He doesn't even register to them that these things will be
taken and sold. Yeah.
After now, the sheriff has advertised them. That day, he's coming now.
To take.
Give me the car keys. I'm here to take. That's when now it dawns upon them that this is serious. So the sheriff was like, money in my bank account or I'm selling this stuff. I've advertised them. That's when now the money came.
That day.
To the sheriff.
To sheriff.
Yes, because the sheriff is waiting.
It's either the keys or the money.
Yes. And the money was there. They had to sit. The whole weekend, they had to sit now and decide, what do we do? It's around the 29th of 29th. It's that weekend of the end of November. So now they are giving me, there was the compensation. There was a lump sum compensation that they had to pay. So they would pay it immediately. So now when I go back to work, we have to sit down now and calculate how much you owe me based on now the bonuses, the leave days,
So that was not even the full amount.
Yes.
It was just the lump sum they had to pay first.
That compensation, which is a year's salary. That is on the award.
Yes.
So they paid that, and then they said, no, on the 1st of December, you have to report on duty at Lichtenburg Magistrate Court. 200 kilometers from my home. I'm now living in Johannesburg. I have now bought a house now in Johannesburg. I'm a Joburg resident. You're not even consulting with me as to, now what do we do? Can you now drive? Can you travel? But that wasn't the problem because I haven't been driving. I was excited. I went, I still remember I booked a place for 2 days thinking that, you know what, in Lichtenburg, it was a vacant position. It was already advertised. So when a position is vacant, according to HR, it is funded.
Okay.
So when it's funded, it has got the relocation, it has got everything, all the perks.
Yeah.
There was no relocation for me. I was working in Rustenburg. Rustenburg is 100 kilometers from Joburg. I would now go to Lichtenburg, 200 kilometers away. There was no relocation. I took out my money. Maybe they thought, she's got a lump sum. I booked myself for a month. Where are you going to stay? People are expecting you to be at work, but they don't know how are you going to get there. Okay, I found a place. I stayed in Lichtenburg. Come April, pain.
You're in pain again.
Remember the SI joint?
Yes.
Pain. I would stand up. I don't know. I wouldn't know what's wrong. Okay. Called my neurosurgeon. I had a new neurosurgeon in Johannesburg. Called my neurosurgeon. Informed him. This is how I'm feeling. Took me to MRI scans. Now there's a new problem. There's a piriformis that is bulging when I'm driving. And then that's where now it's affecting the sciatic nerve and the SI joint. I was admitted again, going to theater for those pain blocks. He would inject me on my op. He checked me on the SI joint, checked me on the hip. Okay, I'll go back to work. Again, driving. The pain. So he booked me off for, I think it was 3 months. And now he's giving me a report to give to my employer that at least they transfer me closer to home so that I can be closer. I requested a meeting with them because they were not paying me. The money was not coming. That lump sum that we were doing, it wasn't coming.
It was still not paid.
It was not there.
Wait, what? The sheriff didn't get the money.
The sheriff got the compensation.
Oh, the compensation. The one they owed you for 3 years.
Yes.
They were now not paying you.
Yes. They were not paid. It was around May, June that I had now an appointment with them in the regional office with the regional director. Why are you not paying the money? You know, you had to fill this form. I said, I filled those forms. Now why? And even your calculations are not correct. You did not calculate. What is it? Okay, you did not even pay the interest. You only pay that money. You are forgetting that there's an interest that is accumulating annually to this amount. So you're not even paying the interest. You're not even paying my salaries. So the calculations started and then they calculated. They gave me money, but I haven't gotten even the leave days up to today.
Wow.
The leave days for the whole 4 years. I haven't gotten that now. So I applied for transfer with a backup of my
doctor's letter, yeah.
I didn't get it. People are not responding to me. I'm talking directly to the Director General. He would not even respond. But he was the one who instructed for the meeting to take place. Okay. So, but he doesn't respond.
And so now, are you transferred back or are you still there?
No, now my neurosurgeon is putting me on 6 months leave until the transfer. Because now it's a risk of driving. Owamie, I cannot even drive 100 kilometers anymore. I cannot even drive getting in and out of the car more than 3 times as a driver. I can only get in and out of the car as a passenger.
Yes, because the leg that is injured is this side, and this is the one that we use to accelerate.
Yes, I'm pedaling.
Sure.
So that's the whole problem. And still my employers, like, they don't understand. And one thing that I'm going to say to you that I'm sad, I get so sad when I think about it, because according to the Employment Equity Act, when you say you are accommodating an employee, accommodation doesn't say a chair. Accommodation means a closer to home. Accommodation means how is this person going to arrive
at work.
Accommodation, like
accessibility at work.
How do we accommodate this person? And when you accommodate a person, you sit with the person
and ask.
You even take now the doctor's report and look, this is the problem. How are we going to solve it? So last year, I got, they took me to the OT, their OT, occupational therapist, and their neurosurgeon. Their neurosurgeon, the findings were the same as my
yours?
neurosurgeon. And this year, I got, when I was submitting my leave in April, because I went, my doctor gave me another one. April until November. It's the only thing. Until you get, he will be saying, what are they saying? Because you cannot drive. No, they are not saying anything. Okay. As for me, I've done my part. I've given them the report. What is their doctor saying? The same thing. Okay.
So, but now with this leave, are they paying you?
They are.
They are paying you.
They
so at
are
least
paying
that's
me.
like the greener pastures, a little bit of this. But now for them to take you to their doctors, did they think you were lying with your doctors and all the neurosurgeons and all the orthopedic, like everyone was just lying? Do you think that's something that maybe it came to their mind?
It's a procedure.
Oh, it's a procedure.
Yeah, it's
okay.
a procedure that this person has been only for
a long
time. So we should.
And who paid
the
for
health
that?
risk manager.
Okay.
Because of their long incapacity.
Yeah.
They have to assess whether this is valid or
and who pays for that? Them.
It's them.
Okay, so they send you there, you go there, the findings were the same.
Yes. Now they send me a letter. A letter that the doctor's findings is that you are ready to work, which is yes, it's fine. Yes, I am. I can work. I'm not really that disabled for not to work. And you need to buy yourself a car and get yourself accommodation closer in Lichtenberg, of which I was doing. I was driving there, I was staying there. And you need to report on duty. And you need also to see a neurosurgeon monthly, an orthopedic, an OT, occupational therapist, every 3 months. I responded, who is going to be liable for the costs?
And what was their answer?
No answer. And I got a letter from the manager in Lichtenberg. And then he wrote, your leave is unauthorized.
The leave you're on now?
Yes, the leave I'm on now. It's an authorized leave based on the fact that the findings from the health risk manager is that you are able to work.
Okay.
So as a manager in Lichtenberg, I will make sure that I support you and accommodate you.
Okay.
Okay. He cited Section 1, subsection 3 of the Labor Relations Act, which state that if you are not present at work in 30 days, you have absconded.
Okay.
So I responded with a letter also, responding to him that there's no way that according to Labor Relations Act, when I have submitted a leave form and a leave that is from a doctor and a specialist for that matter, you've got the right to say, I have
overrule that.
To overrule a specialist report. There is no way. And I cited also Employment Equity Act that now when you say you are accommodating, it's like you guys are waiting for me to come and sit again with my pillow. This pillow, I've got this kind of pillow. The one I'm sitting
at work, that's the accommodation.
No, it's not theirs.
It's yours.
It's mine.
Yeah.
It's mine. I've got this pillow that is at work in Lichtenberg. I've got this pillow that stays in my car. I've got this pillow that stays in my house. Because it's a spinal alignment pillow. So the one that sits in my car is where I am going. I'm going to use it.
Yeah. So now, what is the I would say the conclusion now?
The conclusion now is the compensation commissioner. There's still nothing. I don't know what are they going to do about it at the moment. But now again, I don't get any compensation from the compensation commissioner because my employer doesn't want to come to the party.
So, I mean, with the compensation at first, your manager was supposed to file, right? And everything. So the manager left, the new one came, she also didn't do that. You ended up doing it yourself. And then where is that case?
The case now 2023, we found out, we would write ourselves to the labor. Compensation Commissioner. And then they said, okay, we would like to get the final findings from the specialist.
Okay.
And then my doctor, at least, he's still alive. From the 2016, he feels how far am I taking everything and combining with the neurosurgeon, and we submit it to the Compensation Commissioner. Now we are waiting for the verdict as to is he accepting this or not.
So when did you get the email from your manager is it in Lichtenberg? Guys, Siburu.
No, it was in April.
April. So this is May. I mean, this is June.
It was in April that I submitted a leave for until November.
Oh, okay, April. So the email then came when last month, which is May?
No, it came in April.
Same April.
Yeah.
So after you responded, did he now respond back?
No.
So they might just go and take whatever decision.
Yeah, they must just go and take whatever decision that they are usually taking.
Sure.
But I don't know what they are going to do because I told them what that
the doctor said.
No, that it's an unfair labor practice.
Sure. I mean, sure. Can you please just tell us, like, obviously, this all starts off from, like, oh, it's a small thing. It's like you fell at work, right? 2 years later. You fell when? 2016?
2016.
And we are in 2025. This is like almost 10 years, right? Of you dealing with this. You went 4 full years without receiving a cent, and then you got paid, but still it's not the full amount. You still needed to fight again to get the other money for the other 3 years that they were not paying you. The mental aspect of it. Were you someone that would go to mental hospitals before? Were you someone that struggled with depression before?
Not really.
You had never been to a mental institution?
I have been, but
not to this extent.
Not to this extent.
Yeah. So now
I would get a depression, but I've never had a major depression.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I think is normal. I think, based off
So
of life.
now it was a major depression plus post-traumatic stress disorder. That was the main diagnosis that I got. Psychiatrist diagnosis.
So how did this impact your family? I mean, finances are a huge thing. Like I'm a divorcee. Finances are a lot. Guys, they contribute way more than you think in marriage. You guys even had to be loaning, as you said, having to do this. How did that impact your marriage?
Yeah, a lot. It's not only finances, even the physical aspect of
you
everything, the mental
pain.
aspect, and for now I can say my marriage is so rocky that it can break at any moment. It's it's hanging on a thread.
And your children?
Oh, my poor babies. For my babies, they also are struggling mentally because of that. And you know what, Owamie? It saddens me that my boy was only 4 years.
At that time?
Yeah. No, 5 or 6.
Okay.
At that time. I missed a lot in my boy's life.
Yeah.
He's 14.
He I feel like at that age, to the age he is now, the norm of his life is seeing his mom in pain. Like, I think he can't really remember, all the way back to before.
Yes, all my kids are like that. Whenever we are going somewhere, there will be, there will be hypersensitive or hypervigilant as to where am I, what am I doing?
Are you okay?
You don't have to sleep. Can you carry this? Are you okay? Even my elder daughter would go when I am in pain. She would go even when I say I'm going to lie down. And I lie down. When I sleep, I don't sleep like normally I would. I have to put
a pillow
between my knees every day. That's how I sleep. And then she would go and check if, are you okay? I was sleeping okay. Or sometimes I'm sleeping on my stomach. I don't have to. It's off the back up. Okay, you are sleeping on your stomach. You know when it's cold, they would move around with blankets and it's not a normal life at all of just a simple fall. And sometimes I would think that, you know what, if I had resources enough to check exactly what was happening with the help maybe of compensation and the medical aid, and then they would take me to their doctors. Maybe I could have gotten help without that degenerating disc that was slowly, now it has slipped, but it was slowly degenerating, Maybe I wouldn't have gone this far. I would have been injured, yes, but maybe not with the injuries going to this extent.
When you were talking about working with crutches and also like I'm asking about the mental health of your children, I'm going to share something that I've never ever spoken about and I'll just pass through it. Yeah, 2000, my mom fell. I was with her and she was on crutches for years. She had a plaster for years. Like my mom had a plaster for years. And I was very young. 2000, I was 10 going to 11. And I remember like other kids, they would be playing, right? I would never go play. I was always that television child. I watched TV so much. I could tell you about different series. And the reason why I would sit and watch TV is because I always wanted to be close to my mom. If I was playing, I would always think, oh my God, my mom might be thirsty. I need to make sure that if she calls once, I hear her. Because she would be sitting, she's got a crutch. As a child, you see your parent, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. You see your parent like that, and it psychologically really, it's a lot, it really is a lot because you're constantly like, as much as you're a child, you kind of also become sort of like a parent to your parent. And she would always tell me like, it's okay, you can go play. She would always say, okay, get me a jug. I would get a jug, get water close to her. If I'm going to play, I'd always think, oh my gosh, what if maybe she needs something? I'd always think like, what if she tilted the jug fell? Like, what if she needs, like, I don't know why as a child, like I was very young, 10, 11, and to a point where she now stopped like saying, go play, because I would go and literally every 3 minutes, Mommy, are you okay? She'd be like, I'm fine. Mommy, are you okay? It really is a lot psychologically for a child. And as I said, I was going to just go past this. So that's the reason why I also asked, like, how your children are doing. Do you think that, down from the manager to every single person that is involved here, do you think they understand the extent of pain and suffering that your family has had to go through with your injury that happened at work?
I don't think they do. They do. They don't care. I'm going to look at that camera and say they don't care. Nobody cares because they've never worked my journey. And they don't know my everyday struggle. So they don't care. Whatever that you have been sharing here, it's literally my kid's life. I've been sharing with your people here when we took a break that, what, sometimes I would be in pain. And when my kids needs to come from school, that time I would just take a bath and want to look a little bit much better so that they may not see that I'm not okay on that day. So it's a lot.
I'm sorry.
And now it's even worse that because I had to undergo another operation on it's 2023. I think it's 2023. So my neurosurgeon sat down with the rheumatologist, and they said they discussed. They came up with there's a medication that we can try, at least the last resort, because I had gone through injections, and then they say they would need to cut the piriformis, at least to release it, because now it's an SI joint plus the piriformis. It's bulging every time you pedal. So the medication is called methotrexate. You can go Google the side effects of that. I take methotrexate on Tuesdays. And I've been telling them that I don't have it a Wednesday. Since that, I don't have a Wednesday. And it's one thing that my employer, because they don't care, they don't even know. I don't even know that if I go to work
will Wednesdays
on the
be
Wednesdays,
provided,
where am I going to be? Because the side effects are horrible. They started with hair falling. It was time that my hair fell. I didn't have hair that for the time. And then my hair grew back at least. But the side effects, you are tired, you are emotional, you've got a stomach ache, but it helps
with the pain.
With the pain, because at least my quality of life
improves at least from Thursday to Monday or to Tuesday.
To Tuesday.
At least, yeah.
I'm taking it Tuesday. So I've realized that I don't have to take it Tuesday morning. I need at least to leave Tuesday and then take it
Tuesday
towards
night,
the end of the day. And then I sleep it off. And then my Wednesday.
That's where, yeah.
So my Wednesday, I told him that, you know what, when I take a bath on Tuesday, I'm going to take a bath around 5 on.
So that Saturday, Wednesday, you're just like, listen.
Wednesday, you know what? It's an immunosuppressant. So it's like you are so tired. Your whole joints, they are suppressing your immune system. So at first I used to take your vitamin B. I used to take your energy drinks. I would buy an energy drink a day before. And then I started having complications. The doctor said, no, an immunosuppressant, when it's in your body, just rest. Because it's fighting something.
Okay, yeah, of course.
So you just rest.
I don't know. I think I don't know. You can confirm, right? To someone that doesn't know how it feels. Have you ever been on antibiotics?
I have been.
I'm asking like people, right? It's like maybe you are on antibiotics, but on a higher level. Because antibiotics, they also get you very tired.
No, it's not that. It's worse than that.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's on a higher level. It's like worse. But I'm talking about like for someone maybe that may not understand.
Because I take 8 pills at once. Methotrexate, it's when you will go and Google it. It's like your cancer medication with your chemo. It's like a chemo. When you are on chemo the next day, that's how awful it is.
So, okay, nothing like antibiotics is child play.
Yeah, it's nothing close to antibiotics.
Sure.
It's nothing close to antibiotics.
How are you mentally right now?
I'm on antidepressant. So mentally, I go to therapy.
You go to therapy.
And at least my antidepressants I've decreased. I'm not on. I'm only on 1.
Okay, so at least you.
So I've improved a lot mentally because I've incorporated psychotherapy with hypnotherapy.
Okay.
Yeah, I go for most of the therapies.
Okay, so that at least is helping.
Yes.
Do you think mentally you would have coped better had it been that though you got injury at work, the Department of Justice had supported you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
If I could have gotten support from them, it could have eased a lot of burdens in terms of my mental health. And instead of them supporting me, they
made
exacerbated the whole problems on me. They were problems as well.
Yeah, there were another problem on top of the problem you were going through.
Because now I had to deal with my own problems mentally. I had to deal with my own problems physically. I had to deal with my employer.
So, I mean, now, because you have gone through so much, I mean, even also legally and everything, what are the steps that you would advise? Let's say this is Owamie, she falls at work today. What steps would you advise someone to take?
You fall today at work, you go to the doctor, get a first report, sit on the desk with your manager, let them fill that form, and write an email and CC you.
Yeah, keep proof of everything. Like, make sure everything has a track record instead of just phone calls. Because I think that's what saved you. Proof of everything was there. The email trace were there. The proofs that you sent, even though others maybe you couldn't get, but they were there. You just had to download.
I think 98% of proofs were there, because by the time we sat with my attorney, everything I got could make a file. And then he was like, that's a brilliant idea to get everything documented, because now we can't say anything. And surprisingly, when we were on trial, we are stating our case. This is what you did to my client. This is what you did to my client. Surprisingly, they didn't mention anything of me owing them sick leave.
But that's the reason why they stopped your payment.
They never mentioned anything. They didn't have anything to say. That's how I won the case. We sat there, but their side, I think it was an hour. And they testified for an hour, and then what was it? Or 30 minutes.
Do you feel like the Department of Justice abused you?
They did. They abused me.
Do you think whoever are the people up there within the Department of Justice, do you feel like they abused their power?
They did. They abused their powers tremendously so.
Do you wish you reported your first manager? Do you wish you opened a complaint against him for refusing to report your injury?
Yes, I feel that it is something that I should have done for somebody not to work that journey ever again. He should have been an example.
Yeah.
Yes.
With working within the same Justice Department, have you heard of other people that got injured at work and how their cases went?
I don't remember. But I don't remember. I don't remember of any.
Yeah.
But with the Rustenburg Magistrate Court, their floor, their slippery floor, I was not the first person to fall there.
So they knew that there was a hazard?
Yes, it was a hazard. There are people who fell there. And there was even a magistrate who slept there. It's just that there was no one who sustained injuries
to the level
as bad as mine.
Yeah. Sure.
But people slept on that floor.
Having gone through this with the Department of Justice, do you believe there's justice in this country?
I don't really think. Do I believe? There's no justice because of my experience. There's no justice because of my experience. I at least if maybe I can get closure and justice, I would say there is justice. But for now, I do not, because it's a government, it's a state-owned entity, right? It's the government. The Department of Justice is a national department. So if the custodians of justice don't exercise justice. I don't really believe that there is. Maybe until I get one.
Then you'll be able to say. What would be the closing statement that you would like to just say?
The closing statement, I would like to base this to the managers, the directors, the people who are acting on behalf of the employer. They need to do better. They do not need to treat the workplace as their own supermarket. They need to know that whatever that you do, there are policies that are governing the organization. And they need to know that every policy is backed by the Constitution. Because I feel that my constitutional right were
stamped upon.
Yes.
Do you think they underestimated you?
I think so.
They thought, should we just take it, roll over, take her pension fund and be out of our head?
That's what they wanted.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what they wanted. And I calculated properly because had I taken my pension funds, they said I owed them 180 days, right? They were going to chow my pension funds.
So they were even going to take that as well?
Yes, and pay themselves.
Wow.
And, in all these years, I've been equipping myself. It's one thing that has given me the urge to know more about the workplace, to know more about the labor law. I studied, I did my BCom honors in human resource management, and I recently graduated my postgraduate in labor law. So I wanted to equip myself.
Yeah.
I was pushed by this. You know what? I want to know
at this
more.
point, if you employ me and you think you can try me, I have a person. She will just come and defend me.
So now I know more.
Yeah.
That is why when I write a letter now, I don't just write a letter.
At an employee level.
No,
You're a person that knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
With the act of 1, 2, 3, the act of Ungazong
Now I write those letters.
The act of this is nonsense.
Yes. Now I write those letters. I write my letters now from an expert's point of view.
Well, one thing that I love about you is the fact that you equipped yourself, and you really fought, like you are still fighting. And it takes a lot, to admit, to say, I'm not mentally doing well. I don't know why it becomes such a huge thing for a lot of people. That's something that I've seen. It's almost like that people that feel like, for me to admit that I'm mentally not doing well, let me go get help for my mental health. Some people see it as weakness. I don't know why. But I respect people that actually say, listen, I'm mentally not doing well. I need help with this, because I'm exactly like that. If I'm not okay, I'm running to my psychologist. Like... It's like it's time. I'm like, girl, we're going crazy. Let's go. You understand? So I really respect that about you and your spirit of fighting, because if it was some people, they would have actually given up, but you did not. You're fighting and continue to fight the good fight. And I think, you're just one of many, not just with the Department of Labor, but with so many departments, And unfortunately, when you do not have the knowledge, it's an issue. I think for you, it also works because you are aligned. I mean, you're in the justice system, so already you should know like steps here and there. Somebody is a cleaner, maybe in a hospital, they know nothing about labor. They fell, and this is the pillar to post that. Like, I'm sure even after like that letter was brought, they were gonna be like, okay, let me just take my pension fund and leave. And those are not the steps that are supposed to actually happen. And you find that with most of these companies, they bank on the fact that you do not know. You have no knowledge. They will tell you, come, we'll give you all your pension fund. They make you sign a document that says that you will never ever sue us for this. You understand? And sometimes they put it in fine print.
Fine print.
They won't explain it to you. It is there. You will not see it. After maybe 5 years, someone advises you, you go there, they bring out that they're like, look at the fine print. You see, you said you can never ever sue us. So be very, very careful, especially with injury on duty. Make sure that you always report. And if your employers are getting to a point where they want to stop paying you and stuff like that, get you a lawyer. Trust me, lawyers are very important. You know, I know they're expensive, but some at least, you know, they're decent.
But what they can do now is to have unions, so that at least you can lodge
with your union, complain
with your union, and because it needs to start there. You need now to
go there.
First, you need to sit there with your employer first before it can go to court. Try to resolve it. But with me, nothing worked.
So again, I guess you just try. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story. I mean, it is still ongoing. Hopefully, when there's like positive results, or maybe after a year, you know, you can at least give us a brief of what is happening now. And again, ninjas, I hope that you guys will have also picked here and there. Sorry. But yeah, from Owamie, I love you guys. Stay blessed. And I will see you guys on our next episode. Bye.